Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by for another Make It Monday. My name is Lori Staley, Addicted Stamper with Stampin' Up. And today I have a fun fold using the Floating and Fluttering bundle from the January through June mini catalog. I have a sneaking suspicion that this is not going to carry over into the new catalog, simply because we have that beautiful Butterfly Brilliance collection, right? And but this one has been really fun to play with, and I wanted to show you the dies. So the stamped image is all one piece. It is a photopolymer set, but all of these images, the 3 butterflies and some of the greenery, are all in one stamp. And the really cool thing is that you get 2. Okay, the tape in these things is amazing. You get 2 of the dies, so you could stamp 2 and cut 2 out at the same time if you wanted to. But the other really cool thing is that you have individual butterfly dies that cut out each of the butterflies separately, as well as the greenery images. So you could stamp this and cut everything individually, or maybe you do one full and you just need 1 extra large butterfly. You can absolutely do that. And then of course you have this really cool label that has the indented corners, and you have a butterfly that just does kind of like an embossing technique on it. So it's a really cool die set, and of course coordinates beautifully with the stamp set, and the stamp set is also a multi-step stamp set, or a 2-step stamp set. So you have fills for all of your butterflies, as well as some additional detail if you want to go that direction, and then also for your greenery images, right? So very cool set. Afraid it's not going to retire, not going to carry over. So I wanted to share it with you because I've had some fun playing with this throughout the year, or the 6 months anyway, not the year. And let me get started with that. I also mentioned that it's a cute fun fold, and this is a really quick and easy fun fold to complete. It's not going to tax your brain very much, but it looks like this, and of course it will stand up on its own. It's always hard to show you that on a video, but it does stand up. And then, it opens up, it folds flat to go right into your card on your envelope. And then on the back, I just put a separate insert in so that you have a place to write your greeting or stamp a greeting if you want to. And I add a few accents to that as well. So let me get started with this for you. If this is your first time watching, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back, as I said, for another Make It Monday. I do a Make It Monday video every week for YouTube. I am also live 3 times a week on my Facebook channel, and that is Lori Staley Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I go live on there on Tuesday afternoons at 2. That's usually some kind of a tip or technique. And then Thursday mornings at 10 for coffee and cards, so grab a cup and come join us. And Sunday night, I do a Come Stamp Along with me, where we do usually at least 1 fun fold, if not 2. So if you really like fun folds, that would be something to tune into. I do have my measurements here. So this is just a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. This is Highland Heather. We are going to score this at 1 7/8. And you don't have to write this down if you don't know this fold. I will be putting the measurements, the score lines, etc. in the comments below. Okay, so 1 7/8, 3. I'm going to move over to 5.5. And then we have to open up the arm so we can get to 6 5/8. And make sure you push that cutting blade out of the way. I've done it, have you? You thought you were scoring and all of a sudden you had a separate piece of paper? Yes, I have done that. All right, so we are going to fold these. Get this going in the right direction. So this comes up, going to grab my bone folder because we want nice crisp score lines on this. And we're kind of doing the hill or the mountain and valley folds, right? I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. except that I did go the wrong way. So let's go back and redo those, shall we? There we go. All right. So there's our basic fold. Now we're just going to decorate. So I am using some of the cute paper, Playful. I think it's the Playful DSP that's in the annual catalog. And we're going to grab some seal, which I always have right here. And today I don't. So let me grab that really quick. I always have a seal at my video station, so it's one less thing for me to remember to bring over, and somebody must have moved it. We were doing a little shifting around in here, so I'm guessing my hubby tried to move it for me and it didn't come back, right? So that DSP is playing with patterns that we're using, and I've got the purple posy, which I think goes beautifully with the Highland Heather. We're going to mount this decorative piece that's going to be our focal point with some Night of Navy. I often take my color combinations right from the designer series paper. Now I did go a shade darker, right, for the Night of Navy, or for the purple. I went to Highland Heather instead of Purple Posy. Purple Posy's retiring. Actually, the cardstock, I think, is already gone. I'm a purple girl. If you have a purple lover, they are going to love this card. And I am sad to see Purple Posy go. It was a very pretty purple. I'm sad to see several of those retiring in colors. The Pretty Peacock, the Seaside Spray, and the Purple Posy were my favorites. And I think all three of those cardstocks are gone. So if you haven't seen the retired list for some reason and you want to, you can hop over to my Facebook page. I do have it posted on there in my newsletter that I sent out this morning. So you can catch a glimpse of it there. And of course, the best way to see if something is still available on the list is to go to my online store or your demonstrator's online store if you already have a demonstrator you're working with. And my address is right here, addictedstamper.stampinup.net. You can check out any of the products there to see if they are in fact still orderable. Okay, so that is basically our base. I'm going to go ahead and mount the Whisper White to the Night of Navy for the back side of the card. I won't put that in yet because I do want to add a little leaf at the top. So I'll wait till I have that, but we might as well get all of the papers corralled here and put together. Okay, so now let me bring in a piece of scrap and our stamp. And I'm going to stamp this in Memento because I did, in fact, color those butterflies with blends, right? So this is a rather larger stamp. Oh, I have a little pearl in there. Do you see that? Do you ever find embellishments places that you're like, how did that get there? I sure do. And let me grab my foam pad. We're just going to stamp that down on there. And I use the foam pad because this is a photopolymer stamp. So unlike the red rubber, it doesn't have a cushion behind that photopolymer that allows us to get a nice deep impression. So the foam pad is your friend for doing that, right? We are going to run this through the Big Shot with one of those dies that I showed you. The Big Shot, listen to me. Old dog, right? I've been a demonstrator over 17 years, so I've seen a lot of name changes over the years. And yeah, so my die cutting and embossing machine, or the Boss as I like to call it, is sitting to my left. So I'm going to bring this over here and just run that through real quick. And I love how quiet this machine is. it hit me last night that, of course, we replaced the Big Shot with the Boss. And we also replaced our seal. And both of those items are much quieter than their predecessors, right? All right, so here we go. We have our beautiful image. We're gonna put that up there. Bring in my blends, right? So I have Highland Heather Light and Dark and Granny Apple Green. And for the butterflies, we're gonna start with the dark shade. And I use the bullet tip to do this. I like to preserve that brush tip for when I really need it. But back to that retired list, again, if you haven't seen that, you definitely want to get your hands on it. As I said, you're welcome to go to my Facebook page, Lori Staley Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, to see it. It is there in the newsletter that was sent out this, I said today. Yeah, it was sent out today. Yep. Monday, April 5th. Which what I want to point out to you is that there's a ton of items on there at some really great discounts. So make sure you check that out because you can add some really cool products to your crafty stash at a deep discount. Like there's some things on there that are discounted up to 70%. So, and even though we released that list, you hear that squeak? It's telling me it's time. I need to order another set of these blends. Even though the list came out on March 24th, there's still lots of great product. A lot of the in-color stuff, the retiring in-color stuff has gone, has been discontinued at this point. But the two things that broke my heart, well, there were three. A Ranger Wreath bundle, one of my favorite bundles, carries you the entire way through the year. The layering ovals, layering squares, and the stitch shapes. Those dies are like my staples, and I often recommend to new die cutting peeps that they need those stitch shapes because it gives you all the geometric patterns, the circles, the squares, and the ovals, and I think you get 4 of each, so they're great for matting as well. So anyway, the stitch shapes are still available, and the layering ovals, believe it or not. The layering squares have been discontinued. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the lighter color, and where the two come together, I'm using little circular motions to blend out the line, right? Where the dark hits the light. And then, I'm not going to color the whole thing because I did one beforehand, but I do want to show you. So to intensify that dark just a little bit more, because as you can see on this one, it is a little bit darker, then I come back in. So you can add color, or you could do a third color in between the light and the dark if you wanted, simply by going back over your colored space with your blend. And because I wanted this to be a little bit darker, I opted not to go for the middle color and just come back in and hit that center area again with the dark. Okay. But I think that's pretty. I also think it almost makes them look a little like they're glowing a little bit. I'm not really sure how we get that effect, but kind of looked like that to me when I first did this. So, all right, so let me pull in the one that I did. And I did the same thing, although I didn't do the blending, right? On the leaves, I just used the light Granny Apple Green on the open section of the leaf. And then where we have the hash marks, I use the darker, right? And truthfully, that is where the light would hit, would be on the more solid image. And the dark would be, the light would not be hitting on the inside, so that works out perfectly if you follow the design that Stampin' Up! Builds into the Stamp Force, which I absolutely love. So there we go. There are our butterflies and our greenery. Now, how did I go from this to this? Simple, right? Simply trim. So I have a pair of snips here, and we're just going to take these butterflies right off of each other and off of the greenery. Where I can, I follow the shape of the image, and where I can't, I'll come back and tweak those cuts a little bit to make sure I don't have any pointy edges. So I could have opted in this case to die cut each of these pieces individually with those individual dies that I showed you that are in the set, but for me, truthfully, it's a little bit faster to do it like this than lining up all the images in the die cut. But you can absolutely do it whichever way you prefer. The one thing about Stampin' Up! Is it gives us lots and lots of choices, right? Okay, so there are images. Let's see if I have any trim. Yep, let's fix his little, get him a little more rounded up here at his antennas. There we go. And truthfully, fussy cutting, oh, that takes a little bit of time. But the fact that the bulk of the image was die cut by using that single die cut doesn't make this so bad. Like some pieces are perfectly fine just the way they are. I think I did him, and yeah, I think we're good now. Okay, so I did use dimensionals to mount this. I'm also going to trim this stem off just a little bit. This I'm just going to use some seal. Just trying to run away. And we're just going to put this up here in the corner and let that come down like that. And I don't know about you, but I hate to waste DSP. And sometimes you end up with these real long, skinny strips. Well, I'm just going to put that down here. Brings the card front to the back, right? I'll probably put a butterfly on my envelope when I give this to the recipient. But we're pulling the whole thing together here. So there's my little strip. This is ready to get mounted on the back now. Not on the one we already did, however. Here we go. And you can choose to put the DSP at the top or the bottom and the leaf the same way. Doesn't matter, whichever you prefer. And then I have a space to write my greeting. Now we're going to put some dimensionals on the backs of the butterflies. And I think I can get away with the large ones. And usually I have a take your pick tool handy, but that also went away with us. So it's probably still in the tote from, we didn't get home last night till almost midnight. And I had to finish the newsletter and get that out, so I did not take time to unpack the tote. All right, so we're gonna, if you're wondering about the black line that you see on my dimensionals, I don't know about you, but so many times I'm here like this and I've already peeled the backing off. So the black line tells me, hey, that one's clear. I can just move right on. Put that down there. We're gonna put this little guy up at the top. And then before I mount the third one, we're gonna go ahead and grab our circles. I did cut these out with the layering circle dies. Those are not retiring. They will be in the new catalog. And I did go ahead and stamp the thank you. I used Gorgeous Grape for that, okay? Again, keeping in all the purples. And I used the little thank you stamp, which was the perfect size, from the Handsomely Suited, okay? So that's kind of cool. Bring in a masculine set. And we're just going to add some seal to the back of this. And then this is going to become our accent under our greeting. Oops. When you do little spaces like that, the seal doesn't necessarily want to keep going, right? So you just have to start it with your finger. All right. And I am going to put that up on a dimensional as well, or two. Dimensionals make a huge difference on a card, gives us depth. Plus, they help to hold all of our beautiful work in place when it goes through the machines at the post office, right? Have you ever seen one of your projects after you sent it and the recipient gets it and it's all askew and things aren't where you intended them to be. And I'm lining the body, lining up the body of the butterfly right on the edge of the circle. And I'm okay if she goes just a little bit over into that blue. All right, there we go, folks. What do you think? And you end up with one leaf left over that you can save for your next project, or you could add it in there wherever you like. But there is our fun fold, our fun fold floating and fluttering card today. And as I said, on the back, you have a space by adding that additional layer that you can write your greeting or stamp a greeting. You could also do the same thing on the side panels if you wanted more space to write. But I think that's a really cool card. Again, if you have a purple lover, they will love this. If not, you can do this in any colors. We have amazing designer series paper that coordinates beautifully with all of our colors. One of the best things about Stampin' Up! Is the coordination. So you could create this in any colors that you would like. I'm a purple lover and I gravitate to grabbing purple. And I thought it went really well with the Playing with Patterns designer series paper. So thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a comment. Let me know where you are watching from. I love to see where all our viewers come from. And if you do not have a demonstrator that you're currently working with, I would love to help you on your stamping journey and I'd be honored to work with you. You can leave me a message, hop over to my Facebook page, reach out to me there. Here is my website, and this is my monthly hostess code. There's a Just Cards class that you can earn for free with a minimum $35 purchase, and you'd get a welcome gift from me if it's your first order with me. So again, if you don't have a demonstrator you're working with, check me out. I'd love to help you. Have a wonderful day and a great week, and I will catch you next Monday for Make It Monday. Thank you. Bye.